Welcome to the first video in the series in our course, which is called A Path to Stability. I did give you a brief introduction, and today I want to move right in and start getting some value to you to support you on your life's journey. This video we're going to call the pain factor. Again, the course series is called A Path to Stability. If I were to subtitle it, I would call it A Path to a Quality Life, because that's really what we're all pursuing. The thing, psychologists tell us that we're driven by two factors as human beings. One is the pursuit of pleasure, and the other is the avoidance of pain. And what I want to deal with today is the pain factor, because we're dealing with pain at various levels, and it drives us into a certain direction in our lives, and we see it all across society. It knows no social class, it knows no racial bounds, it knows no financial bounds, it knows no religious bounds. It is something that we all have to deal with. And so I want to deal with that first of all, and just talk about the fact that all of us have to face pain. And the way we deal with that, in fact, it is our response to pain or suffering, which is caused by pain, that mitigates us living a quality life. How we deal with pain is major. And pain, as I'm speaking of here, is defined as an acute mental or emotional distress or suffering is what we're speaking of. And let me break down a few different types of pain. First of all, this physical pain, which is obvious. If I stump my toe or hit my finger in the door, it's gonna cause me physical pain. It's gonna be experienced in the realm of my physical body, although the lines are not always clear. Some mental pain can actually become physical. There's also mental pain, which I just mentioned. Mental pain is pain experience, is anguish experience in our mind and thoughts because of our perspective of the issue at hand. So there is a pain and anguish, a suffering, because of the way our minds process a specific thing at hand. There's some things that when we think about it, it becomes painful in our head. And that's very, very real as people are dealing with and battling and going through life. A lot of things that can cause that. If something occurs way back in the past, every time I remember that, even though it may have happened years ago, 15, 20, I experience mental pain because I pull it back into the present, and it causes me to suffer and mitigates my chances of living a quality life. There's also emotional pain. And these are definitions that I'm given. They're not mutually exclusive, but just for clarity for our discussion, I give these definitions. Emotional pain is pain that finds expression in our emotions because it becomes amplified, charged, and animated from mental pain. So here's the thing. If we continue to think painful thoughts, to think about things in a painful way, eventually that's going to become charged and animated, and it's going to filter into our emotions. And at that point, then it's going to begin to hurt in other ways. And what you have to understand is the connection between the physical pain and the mind. What can happen is when we're having that kind of a pain, our body begins to respond. Blood pressure can elevate. A number of things can really begin to happen. And we live in a world with a tremendous amount of suffering and pain. Then there's psychological pain, and that is the entrance and operation of pain into our perspective and our way of interpreting life. So when pain gets into our psychic, what happens is the way we see things generates pain. It doesn't even have to be something that happened. We can see somebody that reminds us of somebody from a long time ago, and just because of the reminder, it becomes painful. We experience psychological pain. And so these things all play a major, major role. There is no escape. There's no such thing as a pain-free, a suffering-free life. We have to deal with just some natural things. Sometimes it's sickness. Sometimes it's aging. Sometimes it's dealing with changes or other things that we cannot control. Loss of health. But how we handle that is everything. And so let's talk for just a moment about our makeup. I alluded in the first video and in the first part of this, I talked about how we really are complicated. Let me just mention a few things here. Our makeup, our mind, which I've talked about, and I think of that as the seat of our thinking, our perspective, and our processing. And so we have a mind. Psychologists tell us we think 30 to 40,000 thoughts every day without even trying. The mind just runs and it thinks. That's one aspect of our being. The emotions are another aspect of our being. How we, our feelings and what can happen in our feelings is interesting. We can look out of the window and it's raining and it's just a dreary looking day. The mind processes that, and we feel a loss of energy. Emotionally, we don't feel engaged and we don't want to really do anything. It's very interesting how these can interrelate. There's our personality and how we process things. Some people just talk a lot anyway. Some are very, very quiet. Some people are open and some people are not. They're very closed. They don't really share at all. And so what can happen with that is it can cause us to respond in ways. It really impacts the way we live. The other thing I want to mention also is our character. And that's our maturity and how we develop in the things that we do and as we grow as a person. Our intelligence is another thing. Our reason, which is a part of the mind, but I wanted to kind of bring that out a little bit separately. Then there's our body also that is a factor. Okay. We also have our disposition. That is the way we carry ourselves most of the time. The patterns in our behavior and that kind of thing. Then our intention. What is it that we're really trying to do? And you have all of these factors that really come together that make us who we are. When the mind and the emotions and the personality and character, intelligence, body, disposition, intention, when that's not all flowing together, it can cause major problems in our lives, and it can cause an imbalance. And pain just really, really throws it. I want to, in our next video, we're going to talk about our options for dealing with pain. But before I let you go, I just want to mention something that can help bring a calming effect. One of the most powerful things that you can do, it'll take me a minute to share this with you. One of the most powerful things that you can do is to stop, close your eyes, relax, and become aware of your breath. Follow the pattern and the rhythm of your natural breathing, because what you're doing, you're experiencing your breathing, you're not thinking about it, and what it does is that it begins to calm the mind, and it can help settle you down and bring you into a place of balance. And so why don't you try that just for a moment? Get where you're comfortable, take a moment, relax. You can close your eyes if you like. Breathe in, breathe out, relax and follow your breath. If you can do that for a couple of minutes, a few minutes, it'll help calm and soothe you. My website is rogerckelly.com, and I'll have links and other things available later. Thank you for tuning in. Be sure you check out the next video. Have a good day.